Uh, and Lisa, nice to meet you. I've seen your paperwork there, and and John, your connection with this is, are you the architect also, or?
Well, I just want to make sure I'm on the right. This is the right. Is this for 74 East Main Street?
Yes.
Right. Okay. Yes, I'm the architect. Yes.
Great. Okay.
And oh, and here's, I was going to say, the owner should be showing up, and here she is. This is Michelle.
Oh, hello.
Hello.
And we have Pam.
Michelle's here too.
Yes.
Mm.
Oh, well, so we have lots of quorum. That's very good. Well, one thing we can take care of right now. It's actually 4 o'clock. We could take care of approving the minutes of the last meeting in December. Thanks for the correction there, Georgia. I mean, it all looks good to me.
I make a motion that we accept the minutes from the December meeting.
I'll second it.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Great. All right. Thank you very much. And Pete, thank you so much. I mean, you've been doing so much these last few days, and to keep us all rolling. And I don't know if you've noticed, but I've done nothing at all. So I'm actually.
Do you still have our annual report on your list?
I do. I'm working on it as we speak, and I was going to try to have that ready for us for the meeting, but I didn't quite finish it yet. So, but I got all your minutes, and so that's fine.
Sounds
I don't
good.
know if they'll come up and arrest me for being a day late with the annual report, but Georgia can probably fill me in on the protocols.
Well, I would never do that, Carl. I can't say that about the new people, but
Yeah. No. I think it will be fine. Hey, Gary, how are you?
Great. Good to see everybody.
Good. We just approved the minutes from the December meeting.
I agree.
Seem to be uncontroversial. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And we have John and Lisa here for the project. And you got
No, not me.
No,
Michelle.
it's Michelle.
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 I'm sorry. Oh, I'm getting the wrong names from the
Me.
script here.
Can you control the volume, or is it all on me?
I
I think it's on you, Gary.
yeah.
Well, I've got everyone. I don't think I have any other choices.
I don't know. You
Can
Can you
find out.
not hear us, or are we too loud?
No, it's very soft. It's
Turn your volume up.
yeah, I've got everything up.
all right. Well, we'll just holler.
I don't see any other speakers that I can use.
But anyway, now are we? I mean, out of courtesy, are we waiting for the homeowners to join us? Is that right?
No, so Michelle is the homeowner.
Yeah. Sorry, Michelle
Oh, I
is.
see. Okay. I get it. All right. Thank you very
That's
much.
why, that's why I was wondering if I was on the right project, because I thought, I don't know, Lisa.
I'm
It
sorry.
says under your name, Henry Nacella.
Yes, that's because I'm using his Zoom account.
That's
Oh,
fine.
okay.
They're the co-owners, I believe.
Yes.
Yeah, that's Mr. and this is Mrs. So,
Well, Michelle, well, we're all going to be neighbors, but I'm particularly close. I live right up Yale Hill from that house, and I've always been interested in it. Never been inside, but it looks like a sweet old property.
It is a pretty little property. I think the garden is absolutely beautiful.
Does it go back down to the river and back?
No,
No.
at some point, they put a house in our backyard right at the short end of
Glenn?
overlooking the river.
Glenn? Unfortunately, very soft volume.
And Georgia,
Closer to more at least.
the connection with your family is
Maybe call your dog.
so my family, I grew up across the street.
oh, right, okay,
And so
oh, just across the street, yeah.
just across the street. So I did a disclosure because I'm an abutter within 300 feet, but across the street.
Okay.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to
Good.
meet you.
Well, anyway, So, you know, I really appreciate seeing those nicely worked up elevations. That helps tell the story. Um, so yeah, there's like 3 small additions being proposed.
Do you want me to just sort of, if
Yeah,
I
give
can
us
share my screen and I'll just sort of
Yeah,
walk
walk
everybody
us-
through the
walk
plans?
through it. That'd be great. Thank you.
All right. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna just start with the plans, if that's all right. Does everybody see a drawing that says proposed first floor plan and existing?
Oh,
first
you
floor
haven't
plan?
shared the screen yet.
You have to
Oh, I have it.
screen share it.
I thought sorry. Oops.
Carl, do you possibly need to authorize screen sharing for John?
Yes.
I authorize it.
Yeah, how's
You
that?
have to click it on your computer,
Oh, I
Just-
see.
but
There
it's
we
We
okay.
got it. We got it.
Done.
All right, does everybody have a
Yep.
picture of the proposed and the existing floor plan right now?
Yep.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, great.
I have them sitting on my desk too.
Okay, perfect. All right, so just sort of a quick overview for those who don't know too much about the house. Well, which in some ways might include me, but I think in its last use, it was basically a rooming house, or it was sort of a multi-family. There's sort of, I think, 3 or maybe 4 living units, depending on how you count, in the space as it was when Michelle and her husband bought it. And their goal is to bring it back to a single family, multi-generational house. So what we've done is we've sort of cut back on a number of sort of entries and landings and things like that. And then we're proposing to add a new mudroom, a new screened-in porch, and then a new front porch with a new entry door facing Main Street. So
Can you show us with your cursor, John?
yeah, exactly. Yeah. So if you look at the proposed first floor plan, this rectangle here is a proposed new sort of front porch with a new front entrance here.
Mhm.
That's on Lincoln Lane.
No, this one's on Lincoln Lane.
Yes, yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, could you help me with what's north-south on this elevation, on this plan?
Oh, all right. Now you're gonna get me. So
Peter, if you look to the right, if you look at the
Yeah.
right-hand section of your plan, think of that as Main Street.
That's
Okay.
east.
exactly.
So the right side his drawings face exactly how the top is north, yeah, and
Yeah.
the east is the Main Street elevation.
East Main
With
Street,
that
correct.
proposed front porch on it.
Yes. So can you all see me sort of circling my cursor?
That's the
Yeah.
proposed front porch.
This is the proposed, exactly, proposed new front porch, proposed new front hall. And then on the side, on Lincoln Lane, where there's parking, we're proposing a new sort of mudroom vestibule right here. Currently, as you can see, there's an entry, I guess it's sort of the main entry, right here. So there's stairs up onto a landing, and then there's a small vestibule with a small bathroom. And then there's also sort of an entry onto the kitchen through here, where this actually is sort of, it's sort of an innie porch. So the building goes across here on the second floor, but there's a sort of a covered opening right here into another vestibule into the sort of kitchen area.
Okay.
What's that wagon wheel?
That's a circular stair.
I thought that's what it was, but I was
Yeah.
like, why in the middle of the kitchen?
There's a number of interesting architectural features in the current layout, but yeah. So if you look at the proposed first floor plan, we're proposing to sort of move this entry sort of around the corner a little bit closer to the parking, which is going to be over here.
Yeah.
And create an airlock so that we have a vestibule for cold winter days like today. And then facing the rear, sort of facing the view of the ridge behind, we're proposing a new screened-in porch. So these three pieces comprise about 450 square feet of new construction, sort of outside of the existing envelope. And I presume, but you guys can tell me, that you're most interested in how the porch facing East Main Street is going to look.
Right. I mean, well, it's got that little bit of Victorian
Yeah. So
scale. And I,
my,
it looks to me like from the I'm sorry, it looks to me like from the elevations that
Yeah.
you're proposing to replace the siding with shingle.
yeah. So let me.
And lots of windows.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've changed every single window in the house to a different style than the existing.
Correct. Yes, every
And
window.
Every single, basically, to me, it looks like the house is a different style. That front porch doesn't, I don't feel it's in keeping with the style of the house.
All right. So let me just. Can I back up and sort of
Sure.
tell you what? So I look at the house and I think, well, it's sort of you could say it's sort of Carpenter Gothic or gingerbread Victorian. I mean, obviously the original house, which I think, thanks to Peter pointing me in the right direction about the new that sort of database. I mean, so we've done a fair amount of sort of exploratory demo, and it looks to me like the original structure was maybe somewhere in the 1810s, 15s, 20s, something like that. I'm not exactly sure. And the house was moved. So I think the original sort of rectangle, the rectangular part of the house, which is right here, was originally basically sort of a farmhouse. And then I think when it was moved, they added a certain amount of sort of decorative features, like the Jurgen steel roof here with with the sort of gingerbread detailing and the brackets. And then the new, the new eaves here with a little bit of decoration on the ends. So, I mean, to me, it's sort of somewhere in between, say, Victorian, gingerbread Victorian and Carpenter Gothic, with then a certain number of new additions. This back piece is all, I think, probably from the 70s or the 80s. As is this piece over here.
Yeah.
Actually, my significant other was the
you-
carpenter
yeah,
that put the addition on the back, and I think it was the late to beginning. He worked for somebody who put it on. I think it was late 80s, early 90s.
Oh, okay, great. Yeah, so basically my thought was, if we can recall some of the sort of the detailing of, say, Carpenter Gothic, which would maybe be like a porch with not super blocky columns here. Keep all of the existing sort of architectural detail, which is almost all sort of in the eaves and the barge boards and sort of up along the roof.
Yeah.
And then the idea of the shingles is basically just to try and sort of marry the different additions, into one sort of more cohesive looking whole. And that was the same. The same is true for the windows. I mean, obviously there's a lot of different sort of window styles if you go all the way around the house. And so the idea here was to come up with something that's sort of, a 2/2 is maybe, sort of started to be a big deal in sort of the Italianate period, but so bigger pieces of glass,
Right.
and sort of trying to just marry it into one sort of more cohesive whole. So that's my approach, which, you can agree with or not, but that was sort of where I was coming from in terms of how I wanted to sort of treat the outside.
I want, if I could speak and interject something that is not showing. I'm not coming up. My volume's on?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. If what's not showing on the diagrams for the proposed as well as existing, is there is a lot of the shingles that have been cut at angles as decorative.
Oh, yeah, so
Right
that's true.
around eaves and such. I am
These,
definitely keeping all of that.
right.
And I'm also, if we see the Lincoln Lane side slightly to the left of the porch, there is a bump out.
Right here.
And, okay, yeah, and I propose to actually replicate some of the actual design work that's done with shingles on that piece there.
Little piece right here.
Yeah, so I'm trying to repeat it. On the issue of the windows, I fell in love with the windows when I bought the house. That was one of the things I adored. But as John refers to them, they are nothing more than glass curtains.
Oh.
They didn't close. I mean, they literally didn't even close. I did price it out, and it was over $8,000 a window to replicate those beautiful windows.
Oh, God.
So I just had to just say, I just can't do a whole house of this.
Mhm.
There were copies that were available on Marvin and Pella, but they were very bad copies, and I hate copies that aren't perfect.
Okay.
Which windows are those?
Oh, these
All of
here.
them.
Well, there are multiple different windows. The style of the 2/2 that we chose was actually over the front entry area. It was already there, and it's also in one of the bedrooms that is existing when we
Yeah.
bought the house.
Can I bring something up?
Yeah,
Sure.
Peter, can you put the Macros photo up that was done when the inventory was done for the town?
Thank you.
I
You
think that
emailed
would be
it.
beyond my capacity, I'm afraid, Lisa.
But I
Oh, you
think
know
if
what? I
you
think
look
I
at that Macros photo,
I can. Can you do it, Lisa? I can do it.
you do it. If
Okay.
you look at that photo, you see those windows are all 2/2s in that picture. Now, I don't know if they were original, but that's what done in like the 70s or something.
Yeah, if you can't find it, I think I actually have it as well.
Oh, so maybe the windows have been replaced.
Oh,
Well,
so
I was
several
just
have
looking at
been-
I was just looking at the Macros photo, and it looked like the house did not look like it does right now. It had all the windows were just basically 2/2s. I think if I have it correct. I don't know when that was done. I can't pull it up and stay on Zoom at the same time.
No,
I
I
don't know how to do
can.
that. I just don't know.
No, I can. I gotta get to the sheet where the building is.
Yeah, it's on the
Not on
original
the
cover.
first
It's on the
one.
cover sheet. It's on the cover
No,
sheet.
it's the second one. He's got two of them.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, if you get the
Can you let
building
me,
form,
can you let me share screen here?
Sure, I'll stop sharing there.
that building form number 135 has one of the better pictures on the second page in.
Yeah, I think I have.
See
that
the
as
see
well.
the picture? See the front
Yeah.
pictures? Those are 2/2s.
I think in the front, they're more than 2/2, but I'm not positive.
There's a couple that I thought were maybe 6/2 or 6/1, but.
Well, upstairs was 2/2, but instead of, no, they weren't 2/2. They were a center pane with a lot of little ones edging the whole upper sash, and then the bottom was solid. That's what the ones which are above, see where the tree is.
Oh, here's a much better picture. Sorry. Here you go.
Yeah, so upstairs was the 2/2, but as I said, on the actual exposed side of the house, you can see there's the detail. You can almost see the detail in the shingling.
Oh
as
yeah,
well, too.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'm keeping all of that. I'm obviously keeping the structure, holding the roofing up underneath the gable. And we're keeping the beautiful little ledge over the windows and such. But
Right.
because the house also had, even though they were windows that were to pull in like French windows
The French casements.
in, they actually had, which is throwing this picture off, aluminum siding, aluminum storm windows that had the center piece running across it, even though,
Oh, okay. So, but
that's-
are you gonna keep the gables as they are on all facades or just on the main
Oh,
facade?
all of them. I'm not touching
Okay.
any of the fancy, I'm keeping all of the decorative part of the
roof line, along the roof
Oriented
line.
look. I just couldn't afford to
That seems
keep
like
the
the most-
beautiful windows.
Yeah, that's the most important. I think that's the most important.
Well, also, when I purchased the house, they advertised it as a Victorian farmhouse.
Okay.
And with John's research showing that perhaps the house originally had shingles, I was
See, I
looking.
don't think this house had shingles. I think it had clapboard.
Yeah, I'm not.
And you're talking about, Michelle, you're talking about money. You're paying twice as much for shakes on your house.
Oh,
because
no,
of
I
the labor.
wasn't talking money there, just the windows.
But what I'm saying is, if money is a concern, and I've heard it as a concern for the windows, you're paying a very steep price for labor to put up shakes, which I really feel is not in keeping with this house.
Okay,
Well, the
That's
one,
why,
I understand.
I'm open to that.
right.
Yeah, and I understand your concern. What I would say about that is one of the other reasons I was thinking about shingles is because the coursing on the clapboards is about 5.5 to 6 inches.
Mhm.
So if you're to get sort of 5.5 or 6 inch clapboards, I mean, we could get wood ones, but I have to say, basically, you know, wood clapboards these days, they're so sort of thin and finger jointed that, you know, they're not really the greatest product anymore.
What were you gonna use for
Well,
shakes?
so if you're going with something on that kind of a coursing, I don't mind hardy plank if the coursing is sort of 4 inches, you know, sort of a standard clapboard coursing. As it gets bigger, I think the fact that it's not, you know, that you don't have the same reveal and all that really starts to show up a lot more sort of clearly and to the detriment of the product. So that's another reason I like the idea of shingles, is because I feel like it's a wood, you know, it's wood. I'm going to get a shadow line that feels like wood, that looks like wood.
Are you gonna use wood for the shakes?
Oh, yes.
Okay,
White
so,
oak, white oak.
Well, no,
okay, white oak doesn't look like red oak, and it doesn't, okay, I don't know if you two know that here, the shakes have got to be treated. You can't leave them.
Oh, yes,
on
I was
your-
I was going to use a semi-transparent stain on it.
Okay, with a color, okay, whatever. But I really, and anyway, back to the clapboards, you're talking about exposure. I mean, this is an old house. It can have, you know, old houses were added on. Sometimes you'll have, and the one section looks actually like it's a 4-inch exposure, 4.5, which would have been your much typical.
yeah,
These are a
think
little larger.
that little sort of projection, I think that's a later addition as well. That's on a block foundation, so I'm assuming that's maybe, well, it's probably after 1900 anyways. It's probably after the house was moved. I mean, I don't have any, I mean, if everybody feels strongly that they'd rather have clapboards than shingles, you know, I'm perfectly happy to entertain that. But I mean, if we did go that way, I don't think I would want to sort of retain such a wide coursing, because I think the material is not going to show up very well with such a, you know, with a coursing over sort of maybe 4 inches or something like that.
My goal was to make this house so that it would last at least another 100 years. And I do like the quality of a shingle as opposed to the clapboards, having owned clapboards houses and knowing that the maintenance is certainly a little bit more required.
Right. Unfortunately, Michelle, you will have to replace the shakes on the house much further than you would ever replace a clapboard. They don't last as long and they cost a lot more to do, just as a reference.
You know,
They
I'm
just
talking the
don't-
maintenance on them.
and
That's
maintenance with a shake is much more too than a clapboard. But you guys, you know, I'm
Okay.
just one person on this committee, so.
okay.
I'd like to just interject for a second. I unfortunately don't know the history of our farmhouse past when it was moved to its current location in 1917. But that house and the barns that were moved also all had red cedar shakes. So and the house and the barns were, well, post and beam construction with, you know, the old fashioned no nail format. So they probably went back to the mid 1800s at least. The house is was plank wall construction around post and beam structure, and some of the shingles are left, but most have been covered up or replaced. But it wouldn't have been unusual, I don't think, completely to have a farmhouse with red cedar shakes on it in those days. Certainly it wasn't, I don't know for sure when the house was originally built. I just know it was moved in 1917.
Well, they're saying 1850, and they're specifically saying 2.5-story East Lake stick style
That's probably a pretty good,
clapboard, which
Vibe,
is
yeah.
really what I would call it also. I lived in a stick style house for 35 years.
yeah.
It was just so,
Is there anything else that we know about the house? Is there anything particularly noteworthy in terms of
Did you read did you read the Macris history? It said something about the owners donated the cat and dog fountain to the town.
Wait a second. Hang on. How did I miss that? I thought so that's on the Macris history. So that's
Am I wrong?
I don't know. Hang on.
I can't pull this stuff up when I'm talking.
I looked at the first page.
Too much time on my hands. I'm reading too much stuff.
Maybe I didn't realize there was a second page.
it was located on the,
There's like 6 pages.
it was located on Main and South Street, opposite from the Red Lion before 1910.
I see.
Right, and they moved it.
Uh-huh.
Keep going.
Here,
Look at like,
I'll share screen again so you guys.
look on the
can-
area map. Pull up the area map. The one that
So
says area map
It
on it.
used to be where the
Not the area map, area description for the area.
it used to be across from the
Somebody's taken
line
over my spot. That's not mine.
where the rectory for St. Paul's
Sorry.
rectory is.
I
Very
can't
So-
share if, I don't know why.
Wait a minute. You know what? I'll pull it up on my phone. Hold on. Oh,
No, that's not mine. I don't know.
I'll
You
pull
were
it
there
up
for
on
a
my phone.
second,
Hold on.
Pam.
What?
Well, let me
You
just
appeared
figure-
for a second as sharing.
I just,
Hold
oh,
on,
here
I
you go. I
think-
got it. Here you go. Where do you want me to go, Lisa?
Go to the where
I
it
think
says,
I want the area
write-up.
form, Pam.
go to the page that says that it describes the area, the neighboring area. Keep
So that's
going.
Oh.
That's a separate document. That's
That's a
TRU.
separate document.
That's on the next one.
I'll have to go there.
Right.
Sorry, I'm going there in a minute. Here's an area form.
I'm
Okay, here
trying
you
to
go.
find it.
It wants me to stop again. Darn it. I can't
Hang
get
on,
on.
I'm gonna pull it up on my phone if I can find
No.
where.
I can't get on the thing here. Whoever's sharing this map has got to stop. A leader in the 2020 Garnet Magic for Meeting Solutions thing.
What is that?
I don't
What?
know. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna share screen again. It won't, there it is. Okay, we're good. Okay, here you go, Lisa.
All right, let me just scroll through and see if I can find it real quick. Of course,
It's on like the fourth page.
Mhm.
I can't get it to scroll.
All right.
So we're talking about, what's that number? 74.
Right.
Okay, so they're number 74, right on the corner of Lincoln Lane. So keep scrolling down. It's taken me forever to scroll through this, where it says,
Oh,
just find 74 in this in the dialogue.
The most elaborate house, stick style Gourley Cottage.
Yeah.
Was moved to this location. I wonder if we have pictures from town of what it looked like before it was moved. South and Main Streets between most houses are front gable, side gable. It's really all you
And a
got.
summer resident who donated the cat and dog fountain.
Oh, you found it. Good for you. Oh, way
Yeah,
down here.
Says
76.
It had been built by John Gooley, a summer resident who donated the cat and dog fountain to town.
There you go. That's what I was looking for.
Research is needed to see, oh, okay, whether a response to suggest.
Ah, here you go, 909, right.
that.
Right. So that's who built the house.
Got
Yeah.
it.
Wow. I feel, and I'm not sure about it, but I think that the cat and dog fountain was actually originally part of the garden of that house before it was moved.
Hmm.
Oh, well, that would make sense.
Yeah, and they didn't actually move the fountain, but apparently they moved the house. So
I saw the fountain get moved the other day, Carl.
I did too.
I was there. It was a big deal. Anyway, it all went happily, and it's getting work done, and we'll hopefully have
Anyway,
it by the
getting
summer.
back to this. So that's, I think, quite significant.
It is. No, it's yeah. I mean, I think that you know, just the fact that it's, you know, on Main Street and associated with the history of the town and so forth. And obviously one of the more attractive houses on East Main Street there. Then you know, I mean, I don't know that we have you know, too much discussion regarding whether it's, you know, significant. But I think the question then becomes like, you know, do we feel like the proposed alterations are such that you know, the historic significance of the building would be compromised. I mean, you know, it's not something we invoke very often, that's for sure. So
I don't feel that. I think if Pam feels strongly about those shakes, that could be a condition. I feel bad about windows, but everybody always rips the windows out of everything. So I'm kind of learning to get over that,
I
as
know.
much as it makes me nauseous.
Yeah,
But I do agree.
really, yeah, I mean.
I
I'll
do-
get
I
with
do
windows.
agree.
Yeah.
Windows
I
are-
do
like the
agree
windows.
that redoing old windows is extremely expensive unless you take it on yourself and learn how to do it. And there is a mishmash of windows in that building, which
Yeah.
I think adds to its charm, but
It does.
other people feel differently. So that's my
It's definitely a
2 cents worth.
hodgepodge the way it's the way it
John,
is.
in terms of that front porch,
Yeah.
it looks, I'll make an assumption that there is more embellishment going to happen.
You mean on the like the
The
column?
columns, they look like they're just, yeah.
Yeah.
They'll be the Victorian type, the wooden ones that have the turnings that often people paint them different colors as it goes
Yeah.
up.
Right, it should be in keeping, the key is when you're working on this house is work with the house.
Yeah, of course.
That's a
You can-
good way to put it.
Yeah.
Good way to put it.
I always work with the house, so somebody can say to me, oh, it doesn't look the same. Well, look around, you know? So,
And what's your what's your time frame for doing the renovations now? I mean, are you looking to start right away, or gonna wait
Yes, yes.
better weather? Okay, great. And
As
then
soon as the snow melts.
yeah, well, and there's a lot of interior work obviously to be
Oh,
done.
yeah.
You know, one thing I would like to say is if you find that your, you know, exterior plans end up changing in, you know, in a big way, then, you know, it would actually, you know, we'd really appreciate kind of being kept in the loop.
Sure,
Uh,
sure, of course.
You know, I mean, because sometimes that happens when you're, you know, undertaking a project. You know, I mean, you know, get new ideas and so forth. But anyway,
But I
so
think that, you know, the design is fairly well settled. The only thing I think that might change something is if we find what I like to call dragons, dragons in the walls. But
oh,
but I think we've actually done a fair amount of demolition. So I think on the interior, so I think we kind of know what's there. And I think basically the idea was to try and keep the outside as close to, you know, as the envelope as close to the way as it was, and do most of the changing on the inside, which which I think is, now that we sort of know what the structure is, which again is the same as what the other gentleman was describing. It's it's post and beam with sort of plank siding and then clapboards over that. So we're
And you're not looking to have to, it doesn't look to me like you have to go to the town for anything. Any
one thing I think we do need to go for is the new mudroom, because it's a corner lot. The setback on Lincoln Lane is the same as the setback on East Main.
Oh, I see.
So where we're sort of getting rid of the existing landing in that bump out and then moving it to a new vestibule. That new vestibule, I believe, needs a special permit because it's within the setback.
Okay, well, that's not our department. but-
Right.
Yeah, and I will tell you, John, it takes months. So try to get it in early.
Right.
Do you have to worry about distance to the river with the new porch? Do you have to worry about
We're not
buffer zone to the river?
Yeah,
I think we're in
they
a,
sure do.
No, we're actually there's 2 zones in our backyard and I'm in the one that's farther back from it. The house sits farther back from that.
It sits
But
further
are
back
you
than
still
150
within
feet.
Pardon me?
Sorry, go ahead.
It sits
Pam, go ahead.
back further than 150 feet from the water.
oh, yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay,
Easily,
then you
yeah.
should be fine.
Yeah.
No,
Okay.
And I
Lucky
would like-
you.
And I would like to do some research and I'd welcome to some input because I do plan on putting shutters back. But we have like 3 or 4 different collections of shutters presently, and they're all rotted.
Oh, God.
There's virtually saving nothing in this house. It's just been so not taken care
Are
of.
there,
for a long time.
shutters on the house now? It does, I don't remember that there are.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah,
I
there
mean,
are.
they're
Yeah, there's shutters on it.
They're hanging with a wing and a prayer.
Okay.
So,
What do white oak shakes look like? Are they kind of
no,
white or like
they
what's
they
the
would
color?
they'd be cedar shakes. They'd just be 16-inch cedar perfections.
Oh, I'm sorry, I said cedar. I
Yeah,
meant.
yeah.
So there's
Um,
16, so what would the exposure be on them?
The exposure would be sort of 5.5, same as the coursing that's there now.
So are they going to weather to like that sort of silver that you see on Cape Cod or
Not
what?
want that.
So I think what Michelle's thinking of doing is a semi-solid stain. So they would, there'd be sort of a color to it. I mean, you can, I have to say with the red cedar, unless you're really careful, they turn black instead of silver. What
Sure do.
works so well on the Cape and the islands is that the saltwater air is what helps to sort of silver them out. So
You'll
I
have
think-
plenty of saltwater air on Main Street in the winter.
Oh, that's true.
I'm
No,
still wondering why you're putting a front porch on, to be
I don't know if you can
honest.
see it, but this is kind of the beigey color I wanted to keep the body of the house.
Yeah.
This
okay.
is, it looks blue here, but it isn't. It's actually a gray, a pale gray, and that's what the windows are. And then I was looking for shingles and in about kind of a verde color. It's not showing well on the monitor at all, but I'm not going to be doing really bright Victorian colors. I'm going to keep the house mellow and let the garden be beautiful and let all of the fretwork and stuff be the actual focal point of the house, is what my goal was on this. I mean, I changed the roof. It had 4 roofs on it, including a Shakes roof. So,
Well, I mean, I guess the question before us, Pete, do we need to take a separate vote? I mean, are we agreed that, in view of its prominence on Main Street and so forth and history, that this is a significant, a significant building, right?
Yes. So I think you're right, Carl. It's definitely significant because it's in this potential historic district. It's in the Massachusetts Historic Commission records. So I just shared my screen with, so the test that I think go to then, if you assume it's a significant historic building, it's part B here.
Yeah.
And some of the people have been alluding to this language as we've been talking. And I guess I would make a motion that it does not materially compromise the historic or architectural significance, considering all that stuff that's listed there to be considered.
I'll second that. I'll second that.
Okay.
I still have major issue with the changing
The siding.
and the colors. It's gonna look completely, it's gonna look out of water. It's just not gonna look correct on Main Street to me. You're changing, yeah, it's just a different building.
Could
I
we
think
add an addendum that we
Clapboards
would
would make it look-
prefer to, we would
Prefer to see
prefer to see,
clapboards.
see clapboards? Is that
Yeah.
something that, I thought that our commission wasn't, we couldn't make suggestions on aesthetics.
Well,
Well,
to me,
I mean-
that covers a lot more than 500 square feet of the house. It's the whole
Right,
entire-
I understand. Okay.
Yeah, it's clearly within our jurisdiction. I think technically we would have to say that we don't approve these plans. We'd have to say, come back with clapboards if that's what we wanted to say. That we would say that the shingles compromise too much the architectural significance of the house, considering these relationships that are alluded to here. And I don't think that's a crazy idea. I guess I just sort of come down lightly on the other side, but I could be convinced on Pam's side. What are the other?
I could be too. I could be convinced as well.
I feel that it looks totally different with the shakes from the picture that they showed, even though it's black and white, compared to what the clapboards are. I just
But
feel it changes the,
I'm willing to defer to you all and say I will definitely do the clapboards.
Oh,
I just think it's too, with those
I mean-
beautiful windows and design above them, I think it detracts from that. And with the clapboards, I think it would enhance those details. That's just my opinion.
That's a really easy choice for me.
Michelle, that's very flexible on your part here. I have to say, what I wonder is, like, do we continue the meeting and ask for
New drawings.
revised elevation? I don't know. I mean,
I think that would be good if we.
I don't
could
want
do
to
that.
make too.
Just the lawyer on the panel here, that
out
would
of-
make me comfortable.
The only thing I'd like to request though is that we are on a time limit here and we
Yeah.
can't submit for our permit until you approve.
We meet very rapidly. We generally.
We're good. We're a good committee.
Well,
Every-
Michelle, we really, I've been on a lot of committees. This is the nicest committee in the town, probably in the county. And we
And
really want to work with you and help you.
Seriously,
I will
would like that
guarantee you, the
help.
money
Yeah,
you will save on the shakes, you can put in the house. So
seriously,
So I would just like to say, if we do continue it, we need to set a date
we'll do it next
Absolutely.
week.
and we could do it however long it's
Yeah.
going to take the architect to get us the plans.
and that gives us enough
I
time
can
to
have the
advertise.
plans, I can have the elevations changed by tomorrow. I mean,
Great.
All he has to do is click a button.
No, it's
I
just
mean,
AutoCAD. Just
Do we
shake the
meet
button.
next Monday, March 1 at 4 o'clock?
Not 4 o'clock. I just changed my haircut appointment for
Okay.
this one. Hold on. Let me look at my calendar.
Oh, no.
We can't mess up Lisa's hair appointment.
I can identify to that.
I could do another, I mean, if she wants to do it at 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock is good. 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock?
5 o'clock.
So
Then
5
I can get,
o'clock
well,
on Monday, March 1?
yeah, that works for me.
Great.
Okay.
So, Peter, shall I just send you, since you've been my point of contact, or should I send it to Carl, or what's the best way?
You can send it to both of us. That's fine.
Okay,
Yeah, and I'll see that it gets circulated to everybody else.
okay,
Sure.
great. This won't take very long, so.
That sounds good. Okay, so
Thank you,
we are going to
John.
be, so I move that we continue this meeting till Monday, March 1 at 5 PM.
And
So moved.
that
Oh,
makes
second.
sense. Thank you. And Michelle, I just want to say overall, my impression here, I mean, I don't care particularly strongly about the siding one way or the other, but my impression is that you're taking on a big project in a very nice way, and it's good to see, and it'll be nice to see that house that house getting taken care of. So anyway, just
Totally agree. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah, agreed.
thank you.
all right. Well, so we'll come back at 5 o'clock on March.
Monday.
You see,
Who knew March 1st was going to happen? I thought
It may not.
We hope.
Hopefully it won't be snowing.
I thought February was eternal. It's going to be February for the rest of time. So,
All right, well, thank you all very much for your
Thank you.
time.
I really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Thank
Thank
you, John. Thank you for your
Be in
nice,
touch.
your good drawings and everything.
And Pam, if you have any suggestions on how to glam up the porch, the front porch a little bit?
No, I don't want to step on John's architectural toes. Thank you.
Oh, okay. Well, I just have
That's-
really
that's
given a
sweet.
lot of
Thank
thought to the outside. I've been giving most of my attention to the inside, and
Right,
I haven't thought, I haven't even planned the garden.
yeah.
So I'm really looking forward to bringing.
I
all-
can help you with that.
I would love it. Thank you.
And when it comes to junking up porches, I can
Carl
on.
is the duder upper.
come
He
over.
did the Grand Budapest Hotel.
Well, and the
It
Hyatt,
shouldn't be too duded up. It has
and
to
the
be.
Hyatt and the Hyatt Octagon. If you
Well, I've
recall.
had 40 houses and I've never had a
Okay.
Victorian, so this is a whole new.
Oh, I
And-
lived in a Victorian for 35 years. I am
That's why.
queen.
Yeah, yeah.
Well,
So
I'm sure
thank
it's
you.
gonna be- I'm
Okay,
sure it's gonna
thank
be
you,
good.
everybody.
Listen,
Thanks
thank
again.
you- thank
Stay
you for
safe
your
and see you all
patience.
next week.
Okay, bye-bye.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Thank you.
Any further discussion, anybody? Is,
I don't think so.
or should we just move to adjourn and we'll meet?
No,
next-
move to continue.
Yes, exactly.
then
Yes, we are continued till March 1, 5
Okay.
PM.
Okay.
Okay,
All right,
thank you.
all in favor?
Thank you, everybody. All
All
right,
right,
good
bye.
night.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Good afternoon.
Bye.